I asked you guys what you wanted to know about the European Slaycation, and today I'm answering your questions. Note this video was filmed over the course of a couple days, so my shirt is gonna change a couple times. Let's get into it. First question. Why is it taking you like 7 months to upload these WTH? Well, it was more like 8 months, but you really want to know?
What?
Are you sure you want to know?
What?
First, look at the length of these videos. Do you know how long it takes to create an hour-long vlog that's entertaining the entire way through? You might imagine that it takes quite a significant amount of time to do so. Next, let's look at my calendar. This was my July. The background of my intro where I talk about how we're slaying across Europe for 22 days and I show my calendar. You see here like July 14th to August 5th, every single day is a park visit. All of these little yellow chunks are a park visit, except for the 18th when we traveled. We literally flew overnight to London, got off the plane at 7 a.m., went straight to Thorpe Park. Next day, Blackpool Pleasure Beach, Alton Towers, traveled to the Netherlands, Efteling, Walibi Holland, Haunted Park, Heide Park, Movie Park Germany, Europa Park, Fantasyland, Toverland, Plopsaland, Park Asterix, Walibi Belgium, Legendia, Energylandia, travel back to London, travel back to the US. That was my July 14th through August 5th. We filmed the entire series over the course of those days. Let's continue my calendar here. So this is my August. I actually went back to Chicago and stayed in Chicago until the 21st. Then I was back in Phoenix for a little over a week. That immediately went to Portland for almost a week. Then I was back in Chicago for way longer, until eventually it was time to leave Chicago and I was coming back to Phoenix. I drove from Chicago to Arkansas, stayed in Arkansas for these days here, and then drove all the way back to Phoenix. The whole 18-hour drive in 2 days. Stayed in Phoenix for a week and a half here before I went to Portland for the weekend for my friend's wedding. Then I was home for about 3 days. Then I went to LA and stayed in LA, and then I went straight from LA to Palm Springs, where I was there for Palm Springs Pride until the 7th. Back to Phoenix for a few more days, and then it was time to go to Orlando for IAPA, and then it was Thanksgiving, so I stayed at my sister's house for the whole rest of this week essentially, and so I was home for right at about 2 weeks before I went to Chicago. Then I came back to Phoenix and I was staying at my sister's house again for pretty much this entire time till after Christmas, so I still really wasn't home. Came to my house for these 2 days before going to Portland for New Year's Eve, and then I was home for a week. Then I went to Florida where I hung out with Jeff and Josh, did a Disney cruise, came back for not even a full week before I went to Puerto Vallarta, and then was home for a day, and then went to Chicago. Finally came home on the 16th of February. From that point, I was home for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more days before going to Orlando to go to Orlando Informer event and Busch Gardens Tampa. And then I finally came home on February 25th, and I have been home since then. I spent this night at my sister's house Friday to Saturday, but this is pretty much the longest time I've been home in like a year, because also, I mean, that was only the back half of 2023. The front half of 2023, literally I went straight to Europe from my freaking road trip. So epic road trip of Slay was amazing. We left May 5th of 2023. I was gone the entire time, this whole time traveling, and then I stayed in Chicago for quite some time until I went to Europe. So imagine creating an hour-long video every single week when you're traveling and gone this much. It's been a whirlwind of a year. So that is why it took me about 8 months to finally finish the series. Also, I mean, it kind of comes down to I could just do what the other like theme park vloggers do and just slap my raw footage on a timeline, trim it up a little bit, export it, and then upload it. And that would take me significantly less time to create my videos. And really, maybe I should just do that because this is my current content backlog and this isn't even all of it. There's still some that I haven't put in here. So yeah, it's a lot. But the thing is, my editing, my style is like, I mean, that's kind of like what makes my videos. So I don't know how much I can really let go of that in order to create content faster. That's something I'm trying here a little bit. Like I've been trying to edit my videos a little less intensely. Because man, it takes a lot of mental energy. Next question. Do you like food? Yes. If you were to do this exact trip again, what would you do differently? Also, what's next on my bucket list? I would try, I mean, if it's this exact trip, I would have some days off to like explore the cities and actually experience Europe outside of the theme parks, because we literally like didn't at all. There was no time. Like, just look at this schedule here. And a lot of these parks, like, we had big travel times. Like, there were times, like you guys saw in the vlogs, where we were driving 4 hours to our hotel after a full day in the theme park, or waking up at 4 a.m. to drive 4 hours to the next park. Like, guys, it was crazy. It was a lot. I definitely do not recommend doing it this way, but we had an amazing time. It was so much fun. At the same time, it was just also incredibly exhausting. What would you say was the biggest culture shock? Okay, so in Thorpe Park, we actually encountered some Irish travelers. It was a group of children from an Irish traveling group, and they were ages like 7 to maybe 12 at the oldest. They were behind us in line for Ghost Train, like right directly behind us. It was so interesting to watch. They were vaping in line. Like, they all had vapes. They were handing them to like the youngest one and laughing about it. And then like at some point the boys like took their shirts off and started like wrestling, literally like fighting. Two of them were like a couple, probably like a 10-year-old boy and like maybe a 10 or 11-year-old girl or something. And they were just like full on making out. It was pretty uncomfortable to be around. It was like, what's going on? Thankfully, our friend who was there and helped drive us around like explained like what the situation was, and we're like, okay, that's really, really interesting. So that was probably the biggest shock of the trip. Overall of Europe, I would just say everyone seemed so much more happier, genuinely happier, and laid back and more chill, which was great to see. For all your top 10, top 6, top 3, bottom 3 roller coaster questions, I think I'm gonna make that like, we'll do that on a live stream or something, because there's so many to sift through. I'm horrible at ranking roller coasters. I don't really do a great job ranking them and don't really enjoy ranking them. I just enjoy riding them. So I know Ride to Happiness is number 1. Duh. The best flat ride of the entire trip. I think, Talican is really good, but I personally loved the flying rides where you can flip a whole bunch. Those are my favorite. I love them so much. That was my favorite flat ride, the one at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, and the one I got to ride at Toverland. I'm sad I missed out on the one at Hansa Park, but you know, life goes on. Zadra or Untamed? Untamed. So, like, I love Zadra. I do, but I love Untamed more. Which park had the best food to offer? Before I answer this question, just thank you guys so much for your super sweet comments and messages and remarks that you've added along with your questions. They mean the freaking world to me, and it just is a true delight to read. So seriously, thank you so much. I think that would be Fantasialand. I know I didn't get like the best food choices there, but I got that gumbo, which was unforgettable. The gumbo was so good by Black Mamba. How was the environment of Europe? Like, were people nice, accepting of you guys who didn't speak their language in some parks that we went to? And what was the best hotel / place you stayed? Oh, the environment of Europe was amazing. I absolutely loved it. We really didn't have any issues with people. There was one time at Hansa Park where there was an intense ride operator, but that was pretty much it. Everywhere was super kind and understanding. We went to a French boulangerie one morning though, and the lady there was having none of us. Like, she just didn't even want to try to communicate, so we ended up just leaving because she scared us. So that was our one like bad interaction throughout the entire trip with somebody that we could not converse with. What was your planning process for the entire trip? Like, what did you do to navigate your way through Europe in terms of accommodation, travel, budgeting, and of course deciding which theme parks to visit, in what order and where to begin from, etc. All that stuff. Well, Jeff really handled pretty much all the planning. For me, it looked like Jeff gave me this epic itinerary and I said yes. And then Jeff would call me every so often being like, oh, I'm looking at this, flights were more expensive for this, or it's really a difficult drive to get to here. He would come at me with like a really calculated like proposal, and I would just say, yes. Do whatever you want. I'm along for the ride. Yeah, that was what it looked like for me. And then for financing it, I kind of just YOLO'd it. I had a bunch of money saved up from when I quit my job. I just was living on a prayer and fully going through this entire thing on a vibe. And it's pretty much well worked out. Honestly, this question should probably be an entire other video. And we can team up with Jeff to make that happen. You're a god-tier theme park content creator. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. Oh my gosh. I love your comments so much. Seriously. You guys got so unlucky with the weather. Would you come to Europe again? Yes, absolutely. I want to go back to Europe so badly. We'll see how things go. We'll see how the money's looking. Right now, I am staying home and trying to build my savings back up because I'm down to like 1 month's expenses of savings. Whereas before I had like a year, well, more like 8 to 10 months, not an entire year of savings saved up when I was making the jump from corporate life to full-time YouTuber. And we're still working on getting the dollars a little more in the green there. We're getting there. We're getting there. Is there a coaster ride that you were sad to miss out on because it wasn't open? Yeah, I mean, there's really 3 that I can think of. Like, I missed out on the big one. That was a bummer. I was really sad about Colossus at Thorpe Park. It's so iconic. Like, I remember when that was first built, I thought those barrel rolls were so insane and that it was the most inversions on a coaster. It was so cool to me. And I'm so sad that we didn't get to ride it that day. And then also Swarm was down. And that's a bit of a bummer. That's about it, though. We really got lucky with ride closures here. We didn't miss much. It was awesome. Do you feel like you packed too much in too little time? If you could do it over again, would you keep the same schedule or allow more downtime and other non-theme park attractions? Yes. More downtime and more time to like experience Europe outside of the theme parks. Absolutely. How much sleep did you run off every day to manage to do like 123 roller coasters? Not enough. Really, like, not enough. I remember like one point we got 6 hours of sleep one night, and that just felt like so rejuvenating because we had been getting like 4 hours of sleep. We might have had another day where we had like an 8-hour sleep day, and it was like, oh, whoa, that was amazing. It was hard, you guys. What was the worst overall park you visited in Europe? I gotta go with Movie Park Germany. Everything was so spectacular across the entire trip. All the parks were amazing. Movie Park Germany is still in her glow-up era. From all the history that park has had, I learned it's changed hands so many different times. But I really like what the new owners of Movie Park Germany are doing with the park. The newer attractions are awesome. Excalibur was incredible. But this was definitely the least favorite park of the whole trip, which still had some gems there that I really enjoyed, but there had to be a last place, and Movie Park Germany is the one. What was your favorite place to visit on the trip outside of the parks? Well, we went to like McDonald's and a few other establishments outside of the theme parks. My favorite place was Cologne, Germany. When we were, after I think it was Phantasialand day 1, Josh and I went into the city to get laundry done. That was the one time we did laundry this entire trip. I went in and kind of explored around. I met this really nice bilingual couple at this food place who helped me order my food, and then he suggested I go to this Brauhaus nearby our laundromat, and I went in there and then hung out with 2 young German gentlemen and drank some beer, and that was a fun time. That was great. I loved it. I really want to explore more of Germany. I'm kind of learning German on Duolingo right now, so I would love to spend some more time in Germany. I think that was my favorite country. I also loved the Netherlands. The Netherlands was amazing, but I only got to experience it through the parks. I would love to go like experience Amsterdam and all the fun stuff that Netherlands offers. The Dutch culture seemed really, really cool to me. I loved how much they bike. They ride bikes everywhere. It's amazing. Do you plan to go back to Europe to visit any of these parks again anytime soon? Soon being within the next 2 years. Absolutely. I would absolutely freaking love to. Oh, I think somebody asked me what's on my bucket list earlier, and I don't think I answered that, and that would be Japan. I want to go to Japan so freaking bad. Ejunaika. And also Tokyo. Tokyo is incredible. Japan is amazing as a country. It's so beautiful. I'd love to explore it and experience it. I'd love to like book some time there, like outside the parks, to really like get to be a part of the culture and stuff. And just experience like how well ran that country is. Like Japan is just on point, man. I wish we were more like that here. One can hope. Your favorite UK park and why? Unless you were too jet lagged to remember. Oh my gosh. Thorpe Park was an absolute trip, man. Like, I just felt like I was floating the whole day because I was so sleep deprived. But my favorite UK theme park was, without a doubt, Alton Towers. It's so cool. I loved it. I loved the creepy theming because it's so different. It's so different than any of the parks we have here in the US. And most of the parks in Europe as well. Like, you don't see like dark themed theme parks. And I just think that's so unique and so cool. To me, that was extremely new. I can understand like growing up in the UK and being like, oh, this is just whatever, I'm used to this. And the rides aren't very thrilling compared to like US parks. But I love the rides. I love the rides. I loved how well themed they were and the atmosphere around them. 13 was an interesting choice though, because it was like so hyped up. I was like a little nervous going up to it because it was like creepy and I didn't know what it was going to be. And then it was literally just a family coaster with a trimmed first drop. Like, what? That was a little silly. But I love the Smilers so much. I wish we could have gotten to ride Nemesis. Hopefully I can get back there this year. That would be super cool. We'll see though. Jeff and I were planning a European Slaycation 2, but complications arose. His boss is having a child during the time when we were supposed to go there, so Jeff is unable to go. And so then that means like I can't go with Jeff and Josh. I would be paying for everything myself. We'll see what we can finagle, because I do have someone who's offering me a bedroom in Berlin, and that could make things possible. We'll see. I need to look into it further. And then to rank the UK parks, I would say number 1, Alton Towers, and then Blackpool Pleasure Beach. It felt so iconic to me to go to freaking Blackpool Pleasure Beach, the park that Bumbly Beach scenario Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 was based off of. I loved it. And getting to ride a steeplechase. Oh, I've wanted to ride one of those since I was a child. Playing Roller Coaster Tycoon. They just look so cool. They're not that practical in reality. I would love it if like a manufacturer redid that model and made it great and made it new and smooth and super fun, what it should be. I just love the concept of it. And so Blackpool's number 2. And then Thorpe we had like, you know, Colossus and Swarm closed, and the rides were fun there. But it wasn't, I don't know. It was cool, but I liked the other 2 more. What was your favorite park that had the best theme / decor? Was there any coasters that you wish you had more of in the US? Yes, Fantasialand. Fantasialand. Ah! I loved Fantasialand. Fantasialand was so cool. The theming and decor was amazing. The immersion, next freaking level. Any coasters that you wish we had more of in the US? Flying Vekoma roller coasters? New gen Flying Vekomas, please. That was incredible. Fly was so much fun. I love that. Oh, I would love to see just more new gen Vekomas. That's for sure. And they're coming, which is fantastic. I'm super stoked for that. Out of all the amazing theme parks you went to, which felt truly the most magical to you? I have to say Efteling. Efteling, without a freaking doubt. Efteling was just the most magical space I've been to. There's just an air or a vibe about that park that feels so whimsical and silly and truly magical. Like the closest thing to magic you can get, or the feeling of magic, was like Efteling. And then Toverland was also incredibly magical. I loved Toverland. Toverland felt very magical as well. I would give that a close second, honestly. What was the worst park you went to, and what theme park had the rudest staff? I already kind of answered the first one, but then I'd also say Hansa Park had the rudest staff, just because like I did not see any signs for like restrictions against filming in the Flucht von Novgorod roller coaster station. I was just like extremely yelled at by that guy. And then he also yelled at us again because I sat on the edge seat and he wanted me to move over to put a single rider there. And it just took me a moment to like kind of understand what he was saying, because speaking German, and I was like, whoa, wait, what do you mean? For a moment there, we thought he was telling us to get off with the ride. So probably just mostly mistranslation, language barrier. Because also I don't think that park gets a whole lot of like foreigners who don't speak German there. So that was it. That was our worst experience with a staff member, and that's like such a not bad experience to have to be our worst experience. You know what I'm saying? What was your most unexpectedly awesome / expectations blown out of the water coaster on this trip? Dwarvelwind was super epic at Toverland. I did not expect that. I mean, obviously Ride to Happiness. Ride to Happiness was incredible. Like, I mean, I knew it was going to be incredible, but I just did not expect that, the level of incredibleness that it was. Like, that really blew me out of the water, even though it already looks incredible, you know what I'm saying? Oh, Icon and Enzo at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. I remember watching people's, like, reactions to Icon when it first opened. I'm like, what? The POV looks so slow. This coaster looks not that exciting. And then I rode it myself and I was like, no, this coaster is amazing. And that was just Icon. And then we went back and we rode Enzo, and that was so much more fun. Oh my gosh, dude. It's so good. Those coasters really blew me out of the water. Like, blew my expectation out of the water. I feel like there are more. I just can't think of them right now. Do you have plans on visiting Japan in the future? Let's just say this. You want to know what's funnier than 2024? 2025. We'll leave it at that. Not related, but when is the Lagoon vlog coming out? I'm trying to get that out in April at the 1-year anniversary of when I filmed it. That's the plan. That's the plan so far. Okay, that's it for the Q&A here, really. Thank you guys so much for following along on this journey. Commenting, I love seeing your supportive comments so much, and just reading all of your comments is a blast to me. I read all of them. There's a lot of them, but I do. Trust me, I do see them, and they do make an impact. Bye!